Previously on Dual Destinies. I hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. You can't say the possibility isn't there. Was the robot questioned at the time? I don't see any record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Ponko to the stand. What? Okay, so where were we? I went to the... Oh, this is so... Like, the background behind it is so dark. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning the room and Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There is no data after that point. So the error is presumably when he took her apart. Huh. Are you sure? Huh. At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that this witness is still a machine. Being a robot, its understanding and capacity to express itself are limited. So what are you suggesting? The witness's statements need to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged and then later fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child. They don't, but... Yes, what this witness's statements are telling us is that the defendant stabbed the victim with a murder weapon during this moment. Oh... Yup. Before Miss Sykes hugged Dr. Sykes, did the two of them converse? Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena is usually so quiet, so I was surprised. So it sounds like they were having an argument. Yep. Yeah, but the hug, though. Oh, this could be really heartbreaking if it turned out that, like... You know how it is when an argument leads into a hug. There is usually very strong emotions involved there. Yeah. When I am recharging, I go into sleep mode. But I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory. You may as well admit defeat now, Wright. A cross-examination would be useless. You always say that, but you know what? I always do it, and then I always win. So don't be ridiculous. Until now, think about it. Robots don't lie. This robot is both an important witness and valuable evidence at the same time. Nevertheless, I am taking Captain Solo and his friends. You can either profit by this, or be destroyed. It's your choice, but I warn you not to underestimate my power. Yeah. It was mostly filler text there, don't worry. We didn't miss much while I was quoting Star Wars. I'll show you both just how fruitful any cross-examination can be. Okay. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Alright. Start there, easy. Your regular recharge? What is that exactly? I have to refill my battery's power or else I stop working. I go to the lab to do that. So that recharge occurred around 2 p.m., around the time of the murder. That's right. I go every day at 2 p.m. Suddenly talking fast. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. Well, this seems like the important one here. Hugged her, huh? Which Edgeworth took to mean stabbed her with a weapon. You said the two of them were talking before Miss Sykes hugged her mother, right? Yes, they were talking very loudly, but I couldn't tell what they were saying. Couldn't tell? Even though they were speaking so loudly? I'm only allowed to listen to voices that are directed at me. If it listened to every voice, it would be little better than a mobile eavesdropper. Well, that explains why some of Ponko's testimony is so vague. It's a shame that our little friend wasn't listening in, however. We could have learned what they were talking about just before Dr. Sykes was killed. Now then, what happened after that? And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. Whoops, nope. I don't want to delve too deeply here, but... Could you tell us how the victim appeared and acted at this moment? Mommy Metis was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound. Oh, her heart? Mr. Reed, have you forgotten about this document we found in the robotics lab? These robots have a heartbeat detection system. Yeah, I remember that. No worries. Now that he mentions it, I do remember reading something like that there. They detect the presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. But wait a minute. That means... if Dr. Sykes really did die at this moment... Ponko, how was Dr. Sykes after she fell down? Could you still hear the sound of her heartbeat? Let's see. The moment she fell, her heart was pounding. After that, I don't know, I started recharging just then. Ugh, of all the unlucky timing, if you had heard anything after that, you could have possibly proved that the hug wasn't actually the moment of the murder. I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry. The robot is designed to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be helped. But it does appear it detected an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing. Ugh. See, I remember the autopsy report said death was instantaneous, so I thought that's where we were headed here, but after Mommy Metis' heart started pounding in surprise, she fell by the window. It was the round window on the workbench side of the room. The workbench, huh? Over here. Is there something critical in Ponko's statement just now? I feel like there might be. That's not how I pictured it in my head, but that's the only thing that... Your Honor, I believe this statement is critical. I'd like it added to her testimony. Very well. Ponko, could you please add that statement to your testimony? That's a good little girl. Jeez. Mommy Metis fell down near the round window on the workbench side of the room. Because I thought they were standing... I mean, I guess, once again, it's just how I pictured it in my head, though. Let's see, there were 2 round windows in the robotics lab. Which one did you mean? The one on the right, near the hanging scroll. That hanging scroll was Mommy Metis' prized possession. Okay, in the pictures of the crime scene from 7 years ago, there's definitely... Oh, I see, yeah. A hanging scroll and a Japanese theater mask hanging on the workbench side wall. But is there some problem with this statement? Well, let me just press the rest of these first. After I charged up, I was cleaning the room, Mr. Simon came in. Prosecutor Blackwell. I wonder what he went there for. His objective? I don't know. Well, I don't think anybody does. Guess I can't very well ask Ponko to speculate. So what happened after Prosecutor Blackwell arrived? And then an error occurred, there was no date after that point, so that's where... So, like, it happened right after he walked in? Like, he didn't even stop to think, he just went in there and did it, you know? Like, he had no other reason for being there. I don't know. Yeah, right there. According to the defense's theory, this photo shows when the robot was being taken apart. Exactly, we can conclude that Ponko's error was the result of her being dismantled. Indeed, the bodies of these robots are designed to be controlled remotely by a separate computer. Yeah, that's basically what Miss Blackwell explained to us too. She said their hearts and memories were stored on a separate computer. When the witness was taken apart, she lost the use of her body, but not her memories. That's how she's still able to give testimony about the events of that day. Fascinating. It says that she can be seriously wounded, but her soul still burns. Yeah. Hold on, Athena. I'm gonna save you. I will save her! Alright, I went to the robotics lab around 2 p.m. So the one that seemed to be getting us somewhere was this one here. Fell down near the wind around window by sort of blah, 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 blah. And we already pressed it. So there must be something. So there's a couple of things here. This is like the first thing that came to mind. So I don't really see a blood stain on the floor here. And we're assuming these were taken right after the crime was committed. The other thing is, well, the body was found there. And the katana was over there. And her jacket as well. So, like, that doesn't... I mean, if we're assuming that she fell down, then that's when she died. That kind of doesn't jive with any of these pictures, really, does it?
Objection!
Ponko, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough. I was helpful. Hooray! I'm so happy! Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell near the window on the workbench side of the room. However... her body was discovered on the operating table. I mean, for starters, there is that. But the operating table and the workbench were two different locations. You don't say. Exactly, Your Honor. We just learned a new crucial fact. What could explain the two very different locations of the body? I'll tell you what. The victim moved, the defendant moved the body. Okay, I'm back. So, well, the fact that it says the defendant moved the body and not the killer moved the body, it makes me wonder. If it's saying the defendant, then it's saying Athena moved the body. She was an 11-year-old girl. How would she have gotten her mom up into that chair? I seriously doubt it. Oh, well, there you go. So the only explanation is that the victim walked into the operating table herself. Probably tried to repair herself. Maybe her mom was a robot too. Maybe robots have babies now. In other words, what Ponko observed near the workbench couldn't possibly have been the moment of the murder. Still pointing. Whew, I'm very relieved to hear that. Glad to know that the murder wasn't committed in front of the little Ponko here. Jeez. Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Sykes hugged her mother, nothing more. What you got, man? What you gonna say? Right. It's been 8 years, but you're still just as green as ever. What? Green? But I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in anything but a blue suit. Hey, blue's my favorite color. What can I say? If the defendant couldn't move the body herself, she could have had it moved for her. What, by using the unconscious Ponko? Miss Sykes into... Oh, no, but... Mr. Blackwell was there. I agree, since this robot is equipped with a heartbeat detection system, it would have been aware of another person's presence, if someone else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present. Then who do you suggest moved the body? Don't you know it's in the nature of a robot to help people do things? Miss Panko, allow me to ask you a question. My name is Ponko. Say it with me. Ponko. I believe you said you were cleaning after Dr. Sykes fell down. Did you happen to move something large onto the operating table? Yes, I did. Athena asked me to. No! No! And what did you move, little Ponko? I don't know. Unless something has an ID tag, I can't tell what it is. An ID tag, you say? Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. We robots scan them to tell us what a thing is. Ugh. That paper in the lab did mention something about that. Recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag, it says. But it also says it can see their facial recognition, though. I guess if she was facing down, you know, but then you wouldn't see her tag either if she was wearing it on the front. Anyway, never mind. So it would appear that Miss Panko here can't identify when it moved. My name is Panko. Say it with me. But we humans had the power to imagine what it was, do we not? We do? Well, I do at the very least. Damn it. Miss Panko, on the defendant's command, moved the body onto the operating table. Damn, dude. Panko, did you really move Dr. Sykes' body? This is really important. Isn't there any way you could tell? I don't know. Without an ID tag, I can't tell. Okay, now we haven't established yet that the reason for the error was because of him taking her apart, have we? Because I thought she was just saying that, like, she hugged, she fell down, nothing after that. And now suddenly, like, oh, she moved the body to the table? Maybe the reason for the error isn't that he took her apart. But, you know, because if he took her apart, she wouldn't have been able to move the body. But if the error was because of someone erasing something inside of her... I don't know. I'm trying to put this together here. Give it up, Wright. If the victim's heart was stopped, the robot's detection system would be useless. I see, so it identified her as an object at that point, so... Furthermore, Dr. Sykes usually wore her white coat while she was working. She kept the jacket with her ID tag on it, draped over a chair in the robotics lab. And only wore it for special occasions. In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object. Objection! Dude. But Panko is equipped with a facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't, so that means... Objection! She was facing down. Oh... yeah. Shoot. To summarize, Miss Sykes stabbed her mother near the workbench. Then, using the robot, she moved the body to the table where she removed the sword and was stained in blood. Oh, God. Order. But if that's the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place? You want a reason? Very well. What? You can't possibly have an explanation. This is Edgeworth we're talking about here, dude. Your emotions blind you to the truth. You could learn a lot from our robot friends. Calm and rational thought will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature? I believe I read that robots can be assembled and disassembled there. Isn't that right? That's right. And to the defendant, who was just a child at the time, the table was like a magic box that could make robots appear or disappear in seconds. So he's saying she moved her body to the table to repair her? Oh, man. It's weird that she could talk about that without having flashbacks, but then again, they were black Cyclops, so... Oh, that is morbid, though. I refuse to believe it. Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanish without a trace, so could her mom. If you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can. With all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table... Hold it! No, don't say another word. Just stop. Grow up here, will you? Oh... No! Wait a minute. That can't be true. Jeez. I thought he was going to say she put her on the table to fix her. But then why would she do that after killing her, I guess, is, you know, it wouldn't make any sense. So he's saying she put her up there to take her apart. To get rid of the evidence, the body. Of course, obviously that didn't work, so... Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How can you say such a horrible thing? Horrible? Like I said, you're just as green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth. No more, no less. My theory is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility. But you are one sick fuck, you know that? No. But dismantling isn't the table's only function. It can make repairs as well. It's conceivable that Miss Sykes moved her mother to the table in order to fix her. I suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or repair, it doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she did not want to make it appear as if it had never happened. And that's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, that's one possible explanation. But we mustn't forget the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant, and the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts that indicate the defendant's guilt, remain unchanged. This just can't be true. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claim? Evidence? What is that again? Finkel and Einhorn? I can't think of it. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence. Shit. God, this sucks. Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough. What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Edgeworth's argument seems solid enough, but... there's no way Athena could have ever done anything like that. What do I do? There has to be something, but I can't think of a single thing. Oh. Who is it? Is it Mia? Dude! What the fuck? What are you doing here? Huh. There are two British speakers in this room now. This is quite the farce you are conducting here. I could die from laughter. Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is that your argument is based on an entirely false premise. Go on, we're listening. Could this be the miracle I need? But what is Prosecutor Blackwell trying to pull here? 7 years. For 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. I'm the one who killed my mentor, and don't think you can alter that fact now. Your baldness, I will take to the stand, and I won't take no for an answer. Of course, Prosecutor Blackwell, please, go ahead. Wow, he just came out of nowhere, and now he's a witness. I mean, okay. You know, whatever. I went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. Oh, how cathartic it was. Well, we never did figure out what his motive was, though, did we? Edgeworth said that before, and they never figured out his motive. But now he's saying it was cathartic? I'm probably going to go straight to that, because I want to know what's going on there. But little Ponko witnessed the victim... But little Ponko here witnessed the victim falling. In other words, you're full of shit. I am not full of shit, and I don't need any of your other words, old man. I can guess what happened. Which would be... She fell means she fell. Merely that. A mother and child fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. There was no dead body, either. Of course. Meaning she must have left the room. So the murder occurred after the time period Ponko described in her testimony? You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy. Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had the robot move something? Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating table to amuse herself, and she always had Ponko move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Ponko moved a heavy robot for Athena. Wow. This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense, and yet... Objection! Prosecutor Blackwell, are you trying even now to turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring the dark age of the law to a close today? You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer, beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down into hell? Ooh, man. Prosecutor Blackwell's execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come out now, it's all over. Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder? That's right. So let's hear your verdict. If we don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx. Don't you dare, Judge. Don't forget I have hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her? Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor? Blackwell, you selfish. Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdict. Is this really happening? Is it really going to end just like it did 7 years ago? I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I want to fly out of here and go save him. This can't really be over. Do I have to stop? I just have to stop it. I mean, I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. We don't need... What we need is Athena's thing. If only there were some way we could get her in here to do the thing on him. Okay! Oh my god. I don't know how she got out, but let's just go with it, man. I can't believe it. You feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. If he really is, I could sure use Athena's help here. Her power might be just the thing to get us through this. Sykes don't know. No need for you to chime in here. Just accept that you're innocent. These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know? What are you talking about? Do you remember that horrible, horrible trial? Wow. Man. This day has finally come. The day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I studied psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction. But Miss Sykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused, after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackwell innocent, then... The only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. The chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years, and to face the truth. Prosecutor Blackwell, please testify one more time about the incident 7 years ago. Fine, but your efforts will surely be in vain. For I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart. Holy balls, this is... Some lines in this, just like that line there just now. Like, that's almost the entire game in a nutshell right there. Let me hear the voice of your heart. Oh, that should be like the hashtag. I went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. And I was very, very pissed off, I'll have you know. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. And he was happy about it. Wow, such a crazy pose. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. Why is he happy about this? And then I committed the act. Oh, how cathartic it was. He was happy because he was about to do it, but... Okay, let's see what it says. Let's just go to the... I think I know what to do, though. That's pretty obvious. His emotions are very guarded, and his defenses are way up. He steeled his will, as if he'll never let his secrets be known. Oh, I don't know about that. We got a couple of strong wills on our side, too. Prosecutor Blackwell isn't the killer, and we're going to prove it. But what was he trying to do that day? If we approach it from that angle, I bet we can find an emotion that just doesn't add up. Are they trying to trick me here? When I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. Because here's... Okay, alright, it is weird that he's happy here. But then, we've seen that he said it was cathartic over here. Maybe this happiness is just him anticipating doing it. But here's something else. When I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. Okay, he was going there to kill her mom. So, wouldn't seeing her there kind of make him hesitate? Or be surprised? Or be sad? Or fearful about it, too? I don't know if it wants me to jump straight to that, though, or if it just wants me to go with the obvious here and say, why is he happy about it? I think I might... I don't know, up to this point, the game's been fairly hand-holdy. And I don't think it would expect you to do what I was just saying that soon. I'm gonna try this. This feeling of happiness. Even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that? Simple. When I was looking for Athena and hadn't found her yet, I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that. Well, that took it down real fast. Just now you said that you went to the Space Center to kill Dr. Sykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead? I had no intention of harming Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that. God. The second I find an inconsistency, he cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical... Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. There's less noise now, but I don't see any instabilities we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. I'll just have to keep chipping away at him then, bit by bit. Could you update his testimony, Athena? You got it, boss. I'm surprised they were letting her do this, but at the same time, they let a prosecutor, they let a criminal, someone on death row be a prosecutor. So, info update. Oh, look. But I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. So, like, was she there with you while you were waiting all this time? And when she did, I plunged the katana in. This just changed. Now he's sad and fearful about this. Got it. Not even you can falsify your emotions, Prosecutor Blackwell. What? When you said that you killed Dr. Sykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had laid in wait to kill her be sad at her death? Such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. It was for the fact that I was going to get punished for it. I felt sorry for Athena in her circumstances. Well, there you go. See, that I was thinking about that earlier. Oh, he can't be talking about that. Can he? Oh. So it goes back to that again. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. My objective was to save Athena from her mother. Wow. Because that thought crossed my mind too a couple times. Maybe somebody wanted to kill the mother to save the daughter. Ugh. That's messed up though, like you wouldn't do that, you would just take her away or something. I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill. So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. How are you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. What? So the problem is now he's trying to make up shit to get around it. Ugh. Never seen him do that before. That is weird, though. Prosecutor Blackwell is lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling lie on top of lie in an attempt to make his claim sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. Well, we almost had him at the one point there. How in the world should I approach this? I can either use an evidence-based approach, or if I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions. There are no flaws in my testimony, and his baldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause, and let the law free me of these chains already. Nope. I don't think so. Not while I'm around. Contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotions? Let's go with the emotions. That's what we were doing. Let's finish that part up. Got it, boss. If you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. I can easily switch over. Okay. Heard crying from next door. Of course I was worried. I hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. But before I could lead Athena out of there, curse my luck, Dr. Sykes comes in. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see much there. I think maybe try the testimony. Ugh. Okay, what do they say at the end of this? If you find inconsistent statement, press evidence to the contrary. Is there really a contradiction in his testimony, though? Mr. Wright? If we can't find any contradictory testimony, we could try looking for inconsistent emotions. No, let's stay on this for a second. If you want to switch, just let me know. I really want to look at the court record. It won't let you do it here, though. Well, will it? You heard crying from next door, of course you were worried. Hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. I don't know, I've been looking over this for a few minutes here. I don't really see a lot. I see a few things that, like, maybe... Then I guess you always see a few things. Whatever statement it has to be either this one or this one. This one kind of begs the question of, well, if he did kill her, why is she on the table? Or why is she on the, you know, chair? Might be worth a shot. Prosecutor Blackwell, I'm smiling right now because I'm about to take a hit. And I don't mean from the judge, if you know what I mean. But what's your opinion, Chief Prosecutor? As always, I'm afraid the only thing that is logically inconsistent here is Mr. Wright himself. In that case, as always, I will give Mr. Wright a penalty. I kind of wonder if I should go back to the emotions, because there wouldn't be penalties there. He said they should look for emotions first there, actually. Maybe we'll do that. Man, sorry I keep going back and forth like this. I don't know how much of this I'm going to cut out, because, like, Of course, if I get something wrong here, well, let's say maybe I should look for evidence instead. Okay, so it makes sense he'd be sad and shocked here. Hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. He does seem awfully surprised here, maybe more so than he should be. Before I could lead Athena out of there, of course my luck never sights came in. Those both make sense. I noticed there's anger on this one where there wasn't before. So that could be it too. Maybe just because it wasn't there before. I don't think that was it either. Yeah, okay. So I was totally off on that one. Then I'm going to try this one. Pinpoint the surprise. Yeah, okay. How odd. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab? Alright, fine. I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was Ponko. That toy figure attacked me. Dr. Sykes knew full well my plan to rescue Athena. But she couldn't stand guard over her 24 hours a day. So Dr. Sykes had Ponko do it. That's right. She ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I slashed Ponko up with a katana that was there in the lab. That rickety old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade. Mr. Wright, it's happening again. There's even more noise now. So is he still lying? Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow. He's at 100% now. What's going on here? Is it going to go over 100%? Wouldn't that be crazy? What if we find an opening, he covers it up with lies? We'll never get rid of the noise at this rate. It's pretty hard to keep telling coherent lies like that. His mind and will really are as sharp and strong as a katana. Alright, what should I tackle first this time? Let's keep at this for a second. Is there something going to change here, or is it just going to be the same as it was before? I mean, with a feeling of dread, I opened the robotics lab door just then. Ponko attacked me. I retaliated by cutting it into pieces. cut my life into pieces. Before I can lean Athena out of their curse when I locked, Dr. Sykes came in. Man, what a mess. He says with a feeling of dread, but I don't think dread is really the same as fear and sadness, really, is it? Do we just need to keep running this guy in circles until we get the right thing here? I'm more comfortable doing this because there's no penalty, though. Let's go back to testimony for a second. Because now he's talking about the robot. We actually have evidence that, like, pertains to the robot. Ponko attacked me, I retaliated by cutting it into pieces. Hey, where was I? I couldn't finish my sentence there, and then I got lost in the evidence here. Well, what I was saying is if he attacked the robot like this, he wasn't doing that to dismantle the robot, he was just doing it to stop him. So in this scenario, he has no intention of taking the robot out with him, and yet we still have the thing of him wheeling the cart out. Uh-oh. Chief Prosecutor, is it time for another penalty? I'm afraid it is. He didn't say go back to the emotions this time. Last time he said maybe I should look into his emo, this time he didn't. So it has to be testimony for sure. We just gotta find the right thing here. Actually, did we ever, like, look at the ending dialogue of this? Because I don't think we did. I think I know what it is, actually. Because here he's saying he attacked the robot first, and then killed Dr. Sykes. But according to this, according to the photo of the crime, the blood's already on the knife when he does that. And there's also blood stain on the end of the robot's arm. Objection! Gotcha. Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo. Look at this photo. That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it? How many more times must I see that which damned me for my sin? The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the blood stain at the end of Ponko's arm where it was severed with the katana? I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright. Nope. Most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it? So then it must have been the victim's blood. That's right, but if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. He knows it too. You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko and then you killed Dr. Sykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture. But that couldn't be. Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Ponko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first, before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackwell, you're innocent. Damn. You have no idea what you're doing. I probably don't. His voice, there's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something. Oh man. Phoenix Wright, you will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave. Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really saw that day is what's causing these feelings. Uh-oh. Weird. terrible scene. Was she having the robots do something to Athena? This must be what he was blocking out here. Jeez. What's causing strong emotion? Athena, probably. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor? Oh, you should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Ooh. I don't know if I want to know this. Because he sure as hell doesn't want to remember it.